than anything. After all, let's face it, it's not a crime to be mean. But now this internet suicide case is going before a federal court in California, where Drew faces charges usually reserved to prosecute computer hackers, and she pleaded not guilty today. Now, here to talk about this, Anita Kay, a defense attorney who specializes in internet law in California, and Dr. Lisa Boeski, a clinical psychologist and author, and she travels to schools talking
Scott, can we turn this up just a little bit?
teens. Now, before we start, we spoke to Lori Drew's attorney and Myspace. Both had no comment on the case. Anita, let's start with you. A lot of people have doubts the feds can ever win this case because how do you prosecute being nasty?
Well, Jane, I actually think the prosecution has a viable case here, and they've got a real good shot at it. One of it is because of the tragic outcome. So while this may be a new way to use the law, I do believe that the court is going to grant some latitude because of what the outcome was, because Megan Meier killed herself. And when you look at the crime and you look at what's charged and look at the elements, you have an adult, Lori Drew, who knew Megan Meier. She knew that Megan had some depression issues, that there was depression. She knew her very well. She knew that sending out these messages to her about this fake boy, Josh, was going to cause Megan Meier distress. When she's sending her horrible, cruel emails, she had to have known how that would affect Megan. As a 13-year-old girl.
But Anita, let me jump in here because the mom, and I think it's important to issue this disclaimer, says that she didn't do any of this, that she merely knew about this internet site, she knew about the fact that they were doing this, but didn't really get involved. Now, the teenage employee of hers who got immunity in exchange for cooperation is saying she's the one who told us what to write. But, I mean, can we believe her? This is a she said, she said.
Right, and Jane, that is one of the things that the prosecution is going to have to prove, that Lori Drew actually did it herself or was in charge of people, which is where you get the conspiracy charge. Because if she was directing other teenagers to do it, it's just like she was doing it herself.
But on top of that, and this is the final question before we go to Dr. Boeski about the psychology of all this, which is fascinating, the final message, the teen employee who got immunity admitted that she's the one who wrote the message and said the world would be a better place without you. That was shortly before Megan went and hanged herself. So the big kahuna, the one that was the really, really offensive email, was written by the teenager who got immunity.
Right, but Jane, look at the totality of the circumstances. Look at everything. Lori Drew is the one who set this all in motion. She may have found teenagers to carry out the dirty work, but she's the one that started this whole snowball effect. And she's an adult. She knows better than a 19-year-old.
Well,
She's preying on a 13-year-old.
Dr. Boeski, clinical psychologist, into this. Doctor, this all started when two girls who were best friends since grade school kind of fell apart in junior high school, became enemies. This happens all the time. Why is this such an emotionally loaded issue?
Well, this has been going on for a long time, and it's actually very normal. It's what we call relational aggression, where girls often, you do cyberbullying on the internet, humiliate, make people be insecure, feel badly about themselves. Why this is taken on a whole new realm is that how it tragically ended. And I think it's a wake-up call to show that you don't know who's on the other end of that internet. You don't know how deadly your words can be. And I think this is a perfect case to show teens and adults that what they're putting on the internet anonymously or faking like they're someone else can really do damage, not only damage, but be fatal.
Yeah, and doctor, if prosecutors are right and the mom was involved in some perverse way, she was trying to help out her kid who was supposedly being talked about. Why do these mothers just go so far and they don't have the boundaries and they really don't know where their life ends and their kid's life begins?
Well, that's exactly right. What we're seeing today is parents who are so intimately involved. Now, we are always saying get involved, which is fabulous for parents, but there's a difference between guiding your teen, there's a difference between showing them what their options are and helping them make a good decision versus going in there and doing it for them. There'd be nothing wrong with this mother talking to the mother of Megan, but the fact that she went in there and was communicating with a 13-year-old herself, that's the problem.
And Anita Kay, I want to get back to the whole chilling effect. If the prosecution is successful, I mean, is that going to end nastiness on the internet? Every time you read an article, just look at the blogs underneath it and the comments, they're all invariably quite nasty.
Right, Jane. The difference here is that Lori Drew was using fraudulent methods in pretending she was somebody else and accessing information under fraudulent means by getting to Megan Meier. So it's not as if Lori Drew was just sending Megan Meier saying, I'm Lori Drew and I have some nasty things to say to you. That's what the distinction is here. Now this could open the floodgates for different types of prosecution like this. You know, the internet is still relatively new when you're talking about crimes in the criminal justice system.
I know we got to wrap it up, but do we want this to be China where people are literally arrested when they write the wrong thing on the internet?
No, but you also want to protect people, and in this case, Lori Drew knew better, and we should be protecting Megan Meier.
Well, let's see. It's a fascinating case. We'll see if she's convicted or she walks. Thank you both for your insights. Take a look at this.